Team News First arrived in Kinniya in the Trincomalee district a short while ago, and the final rites of one teacher and 3 students were carried out at the Kinniya cemetery. As you can see, at about 7 a.m. this morning, a ferry transporting a number of passengers, including a number of school children and teachers who were eager to go back to school after a long hiatus, were transported in that ferry.
Around 30 people, including children, were travelling on a ferry at about 7 this morning when it capsized in the Kinniya lagoon. None of them had foreseen that a routine ferry ride would end in a disaster. Area residents scrambled to the scene of the tragedy in a desperate attempt to rescue the victims.
While returning after having breakfast, we saw this incident and managed to rescue about 4 or 5 people. Only 2 people entered the waters. The others joined after 7 people were rescued.
Locals managed to save 7 children who were admitted to the Kinniya hospital. 4 of the 6 people who lost their lives in the tragedy were school children. An elderly person was also among the victims. About 20 people who were rescued are currently being treated at the Kinniya hospital. This includes 12 children. 1 child was transferred to the Trincomalee hospital as her condition was critical. The bridge running across the Kinniya lagoon in Kinniya was built in 1977. It had collapsed 6 years ago. Since then, people have been using makeshift ferries built out of wooden planks and barrels. On the 11th of April this year, the foundation stone was laid to rebuild the bridge. However, the project never went ahead. Locals say if only the bridge was constructed after the foundation laying ceremony, it could have saved 6 lives.
It's been an year since they said that they would build the bridge. Many ministers have laid foundation stones. What have all the politicians been doing all this time? There was no temporary bridge for the children to cross.
Soon after the tragedy struck, grief turned into rage and the people of Kinniya gathered outside the divisional secretariat office. Why were there delays in building the bridge? The chairman of the Kinniya Pradesh Sabha and the divisional secretary say this does not fall under their purview. News First inquired from the Road Development Authority but failed to elicit a positive response. In the meantime, the House of Parliamentarian M.S. Tawfiq, who laid the foundation stone for the bridge, came under attack by angry residents today. Today, 6 children lost their lives due to the negligence of officials that caused delays in building the bridge. A mother and 2 of her daughters, aged 6 and 3, were among those who lost their lives in this bitter tragedy. Other victims included 2 sisters, aged 8 and 5. Their lives could have been saved if only a bridge was constructed.
These were the views expressed in Parliament on the tragedy.
The problem is that the Road Development Authority was planning to open this next month while arranging a ferry as an interim arrangement. But the ferry that was provided to move people around was not authorized. This tragedy had taken place as a result of using a ferry to transport people without the permission of the Road Development Authority. I am requesting you to investigate this and to take the relevant action.
On the
11th of April, Nimal Lanza laid the foundation for the construction of the bridge. However, construction activities did not happen. We are requesting to fast-track the construction of the bridge. I am requesting the government to provide relief and compensation to the families of the victims. At the same time, I wish to propose in Parliament to conduct an investigation into those who operated the ferry and the legality surrounding it. At the same time, I wish to convey our condolences to the families of the victims during these trying times. It is the local authority that had given permission for the ferry service. I spoke to the IGP. I asked him to implement the law. I was told that those who operated the ferry service had fled the area. I then said that this is murder under the country's law, as the children were transported without life jackets. Therefore, don't try to point your finger at the government. This bridge falls under the Pradesh Sabha's purview. We have awarded tenders for this. The government hasn't done anything. We express our condolences to the families of these victims. I ask the government to conduct an immediate investigation and find out who gave permission to operate this. If anyone has done something wrong, the law will be enforced on them definitely. I see this as murder.
ඔවුන්ට නීතියානුකූලව අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම නීතිය ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන මේක ඇත්තටම මිනිමරුමක් හැටියටයි මම නම් දකින්නේ.